it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living. If you don't recognize the scenery behind me, you can tell that we are not in Colorado right now. We're actually out in Vermont visiting family. I'm at my parents' house in Vermont. So we're kind of doing a little episode of Vermont country living. But the weather here is very, very humid, very much unlike Colorado, very hot. I think the high forecast for today is 90 degrees with a lot of humidity. I already went for a bike ride earlier down along the lake, and it was just like, you know, all that just hot, humid air I've totally forgotten about since living in North Carolina, but brought back memories real fast. So in this video, I wanted to go over a couple of interesting things that are going on here. I thought we could share, you know, even visiting family, there's always interesting projects going on, and one of the ones I thought you guys might be interested in is the process of subdividing your land. So, and my parents are going through this process right now. You know, they've lived on about a 30-acre lot for, 30 plus years, and are looking at subdividing into 4 smaller lots to build on, and eventually one of those small lots will become their sort of retirement home as they downsize. So we're looking into the process of what it takes to subdivide and all the little steps that go into it. So I was going to break that down for you in the video. Just as a starter, know that this process was started about 2 years ago. Just getting all of the plans, you know, drawn up and submitted to the town for review. It's just a very time-intensive process, so that's something you should definitely know from the start. But I'm going to take you around and show you how things are kind of looking, some of the adjustments they've had to make in order to be able to subdivide land. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it and you can kind of take some, you know, I understand that things are going to vary from state to state, area to area, but this is sort of the process for where they live in Vermont, and it might be useful information for you guys. So hope you enjoy. All right, guys. So right here, I'm showing you the driveway. Now, the house is this way, and my parents had a driveway right here. Let me think. This looks like it's about 10 feet wide or so, maybe a little bit less. But according to the town, I think it could be the county, they needed to widen the driveway significantly in order to make it a legal road. When you subdivide, you're going to have to turn your driveway into a road. It's not just, you can't just have your existing driveway as the road. It's not wide enough. And so you can see here where how much wider the driveway is. It's about 2 feet. This is where the pavement ends. A little bit, about 2 feet wider on this side, but I want to say it's like 15 feet wide, packed stone. So there was a few adjustments they had to make to the driveway, other than just making it wider. So there were several more standards that they had to meet for the driveway. One of them, besides widening, was actually the road base. They had to completely take out the driveway that was existing, put down the geofabric, and then road base, and then the gravel on top of that. So that was a major expense. I want to say it was something like 20 or 50 truckloads of gravel to make this driveway, according to the town specs. But it used to be quite a drop-off. So the driveway, they had to really level. I would say, gosh, I remember as a kid, it seemed so big back then, but, you know, it was like quite a significant drop-off into a ditch. But this has been leveled out quite significantly. And the end of the driveway as well. You can see how it kind of goes up to the road here. There's a car coming, so you can see where the road is. I'll stop walking. So where this truck's going by, the driveway used to kind of dip down from the road, and your car, you know, almost was like doing a hill start. But now the driveway is almost level with the road, and that was a specification for the driveway as well. So apparently the way it was before, it was illegal, you know, to have such a dip down. But now the fact that it's going to be a county road, it has, you know, those certain specifications, the wide width of it, and no major dips, or I guess it's just a lot more level and flat all around. So as you can imagine, this is quite a lot of stone. Look how thick it is. You know, I don't exactly remember how many truckloads. I have to ask my dad how many truckloads it was, but it's the driveway itself is 1/10 of a mile long, so it's a lot of stonework here, a lot of stonework. And this section of the driveway in particular posed its own set of problems. There was a very large rock that was immovable. They almost thought they were going to have to do blasting to remove it, but you know, based on the quotes and the complexity, they ended up just drilling lots of holes into it. And then they were able to get a large, sort of like an excavator-like machine. I don't know if it's called the pounder, but it was able to really pulverize the rock, and they were able to remove it that way. So you can see all the remaining holes, you know, all these little drill holes that they did to sort of bust up the rock, because they had to go into the rock pretty significantly in order to make the driveway wide enough. So as complicated and involved as it is to get the driveway set up, that's not even the first thing that needs to happen for subdivision. The first thing clearly is to get your permits and do your application. So the whole application process, the permits that you need, it's very involved, especially in Vermont. So there's a lot of agencies that get involved. You have to have surveyors come out, engineers come out to assess your land. So I'm showing you along the side of the drive here. I thought actually houses were going to go here, but they are not, because this land was declared wetlands by the environmental engineers that came out to assess the land. I don't know how they tell this, if it's certain plants that grow or certain animals that they find, but you send them a little map and then you kind of show them what your intentions are for subdividing, and they kind of spell things out for you, what you're supposed to be doing. But one of the agencies that does get involved is the Vermont Agency on Natural Resources. They are in charge of environmental conservation, and they will yay or nay your project. So you have to have a permit. You can be wetlands, I would say certified, but be evaluated for your impact on the wetlands. So the houses were not able to go in this area. These have to actually stay clear. So there's a lot of road frontage that's unusable because it's determined to be wetlands. So the house lots are actually going to go a little bit further back along this road here. And coming out of the woods, the drive sort of turns around right here, but then it continues on to the left after this dirt pile over here. And then once you make this corner, this is where the house lots are going to be. So there's going to be 2 back here. So the subdivision was for 2 lots specifically. There's actually 3 lots in total if you count my parents' house. That house itself, that's the 3rd lot. So it's divided into 3 lots with 2 additional lots for building. I know. Oh, no way. Oh, look at that. Is that for a septic?
No, that's for around the house. Drainage.
Just a drain?
Yeah, that's why I got it there, so I can... it's picking it up. The water.
Huh.
Drained it the other day. I stepped on it and it all pulled out. I got it there. That way there, when you're building the whole cellar, there's going to be water.
Yeah.
And there, nowhere to go. Here's my line way down there.
Yeah, I see it. That's the line right there. So all the lots are like 3 acres?
Yeah, 2.5 or so. This one's 2.8. Yeah, I still got about.
So this could be like a little cul-de-sac? Like a little turnaround area? Or it'll just be
a... that's the house.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this whole cleared area will be the house. Right here. The stake is the...
That's the back of the house.
Oh, the back of the house.
The back of the garage. Well, the house is going to be up to this tree probably. Might have to take this tree down.
Oh. So the 65 feet is to the back of the lot?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, to the back of the next property line.
So you have to have 65 feet from the back of the house to the property line. We had to have...
I don't have to have, I only have have to have 25.
25, okay. We had to have
What I got left is 65. I didn't know.
Oh, okay. We had to have 15 feet from a, now it's different for a shed, but we had to have 15 feet from the back of our property line to the shed.
Oh, yeah.
But that's for the back of the property. For the front of the property, you have to have a lot more clearance on the front of the property.
Yeah, here it's 25 feet all everywhere.
Okay.
From the side property to the next lot.
Okay. I can see the line right over there.
Yeah, see there's a line up?
Yeah.
That's the property line.
Okay.
So I'm about, I don't know, probably 30.
So there'll be...
I'm about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 45 feet.
45, okay. So that's the edge of the property.
But the minimum I can have is 25, but I got 45, so I'm all set.
So how many total acres are you dividing up then? You're dividing up...
Well, I had 20, 30, I had 33, and I just took out another 5.5. So I still got 20, I think 26 or 7 left.
But a lot of it's down on the trails.
Yeah.
Not up here. So up here...
Up here there's nothing. Everybody, it's all the land that belongs to these houses.
Okay.
All the way to my driveway. On that way. And this way it goes all the way down into the field.
Now, is there going to be a house down there in the field?
Where that ribbon is, that's the front end of the house.
Oh, okay. So that'll be the last one.
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah, it goes that way quite a ways.
Okay.
You know, long enough to get the house in there. That's the edge of the house.
Okay.
I might have to go that way because that's got to be 25 feet from that line.
Okay. Okay.
Can't do it. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to cut these trees down.
Oh,
They're gonna be.
too bad.
Probably take 16 feet more. It's gonna be the back of the house will be right about here. You can see that one, but it's kind of ugly. I think the back of the house is gonna be right about here.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of close.
Yeah, it'd be close to the house.
So I'm better off taking both of those right out of there. And clearing that all up, making a lawn out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Leave those trees, whatever. It's one big one there. That's not a nice tree, but dig them up, knock them down, make some more holes. Make a bunch out of there.
Yeah.
Wow, boy, that's enough.
So it was about 2 years ago you started the plans, or you submitted them?
Yeah, 2 years ago, they were first went for a subdivision.
Uh-huh.
Took 2 years to.
2 years, and for them to just approve it, or to review it and approve it?
Yeah, 2 years to get it approved.
Okay. One helpful thing is when you own your own dump truck, you can go pick up your own stone.
So he's backing up here on the drive of the lot that we just measured, and he just wanted to get one more load of stone today while he could with the dump truck, so he can get that sort of spread out before starting the excavation in front of the lot there.
And there's a load of dirt down there.
20. 26.
So what's this, just the first lot?
Yeah. Lot number 1. I mean, this lot number 4, which is the first one. Now we're going to do a 36 house.
Oh, you're trying to figure out where you're excavating?
Yeah. I want to know the size, then I got to figure out where I'm going to do for rooms. Once I get my rooms,
So you're only going to fit one per paper.
oh yeah. Well, usually I'll draw it lower, then I can put my upstairs above it. But right now I know I'm going to be racing and throwing this away before I'm even close to done. This is just... This is going to be the same dormer as the front, as this house. I got 3. But you think, I just went out and looked. I don't know if I was thinking about just doing 2. This one's 2 foot shorter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do 2 bigger ones or do 3 like I just take off a foot off on each center.
My phone, she's on my phone.
Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that. It's kind of a whole involved process to subdivide your land, especially in places here like in Vermont. So I understand it's probably very different depending on where you live, depending on your area, your country, your state. There's probably different regulations. Some places might have a lot less, might not be as complicated, but I think it's good to know how involved the process could be. I think people might have that mindset that subdividing your land is a quick way to make some money, to sell off, to have increased value, and they don't really realize all what goes into it. A lot of upfront investment. Think about all that gravel on the driveway, and that's just to make a driveway. It's not all the building materials that go into building a home, for example. So there's just a lot of legwork involved, a lot of time involved. Like, you've seen, it's been over 2 years since they even started the process of this whole application for applying for subdivision. So 2 years to get approved. I mean, very complicated stuff, very time intensive, a lot of, I don't know, some people might call it bureaucracy, but a lot of just levels of involvement and different agencies being involved. So not a very simple process. And I think it's best left to people that know what they're doing and have been through this before. So anyway, so just, yeah, a lot of things involved and a lot more work still to come. They're not even really at the house building stage yet, just getting ready to submit the plans to the county or the town. I forget who's going to review it, but so you still need to submit and apply get your permits for building. And then think about all the steps that we've been through the last few years as you build, like getting, your septics and all that kind of stuff. So there's still a lot more work to come. So I think it's just good to know that when you go to subdivide, you think you're going to build, that it's definitely an investment in time, and it's more like the long game, right? It's more like almost like a retirement plan if you're doing this than it is sort of like a quick fix. It's not really a quick turnaround, at least not in Vermont. So curious to hear what things are like in your area. How complicated is it to get things approved? Is land and wetlands, is that a big issue in your area? Because it's definitely a huge issue here. So just curious about what things are like for you guys. I can tell you right now, though, it's definitely hot here. It's middle of the summer, mid-July in Vermont. It's very toasty. I think they said it's 95 degrees today. I can feel the sweat dripping down. So excited to get back to Colorado. But also wanted to do another Vermont video before we wrap up here on one more project going on at my parents' homestead, and that is creating golf greens out of your own landscape. So they've got this, large meadow, 1 acre of open space. They used to have horses on it, but now they're turning it into golfing greens. So I want to update you guys on that project as well. That'll be in the next video. So thanks guys for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the Vermont country edition of our YouTube channel. But it's nice to have some things that sort of relate to what we're going through, dividing up your land and what's all involved in that, and how things are varying region to region. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.